Poor man burn ends on the left side and the flat on the right side. This is gonna be a video about how to cook a brisket. That is the flat and the point. The first step is just do it. You really can't mess a brisket up unless you take it off too early. We're gonna start with a Packer brisket. The front part right here that's kind of pointy, that is the point. This end is where the flat is. This end is the point. So the flat runs along onto the point. The point you can cut off and use as burnt ends after the cook is almost done. So right here, this is what a full Packer brisket looks like. It has the flat and it has the point on it. I like to use a small boning knife, 6" to 7", and then we just get started on trimming. You can cook a brisket exactly like this. You don't actually have to trim it at all, but there's some certain things that I like to do to make it a little bit better. That is the point. So this is some really heavy fat. A sharp knife is what you're looking for here. We got some of this browning. This is where it was scalded. We want to remove that off. This is where the flat runs on top of the point. You can take a little bit of this out. It's pretty heavy. I'm gonna flip it over, and now there's this kind of loose, gross fat on some of these. I just want to remove some of that loose, gross fat. Try not to get into the meat too much. So we're gonna get it started and then just kind of work our way down.
Every Packer brisket is going to be different. There's also select and choice and prime grades, so you have that to choose from. And sometimes the supplier that you get it from has a heavy bark, like 1 to 2 inches. This had a very, very small bark, and I wanted to expose all the good looking fat. You can see in some of the areas where there is still fat, it's a nice white color. This is ideally what I try to get on every Packer brisket, but this one was extremely thin, so I cut a few windows in it where you can actually see the meat. Something that helps a little bit is if you put it into the freezer for 15 to 20 minutes and get some of this loose, mushy fat a little bit firm from freezing it, it will make it a little bit easier. Now as we finish up this brisket, it is ready to season. I use my ultimate steak blend. I came up with this myself and sell it in stores, but you don't have to use this. My blend is a salt, pepper, garlic, onion, but traditional brisket rub ratio is 50% kosher salt and 50% 16 mesh black pepper, or otherwise called the Dalmatian rub. You want to pack this on super thick. There's a lot of meat to season here, and I love to keep it in this tub, put it uncovered in the refrigerator, and then the next morning or middle of the night, put it onto my barbecue low and slow. The barbecue I used here is a pellet smoker. I have multiple ones. It just seems to be easier when I'm filming to do it on the pellet smoker, but my Green Mountain grill is legit and gets a good smoke on it.
That is the flat and the point.
So the cook is almost completely done, so I removed the point and cut it up into cubes of my liking, 1 to 2 inches for cubes, and then I'm going to go ahead and throw it back into a pan. I used monk fruit instead of brown sugar, so this is a sugar-free dish, but add any barbecue sauce that you like, add butter, and then mix it up really good. And then we're just gonna basically put it back on for 1 to 2 hours until it has got a perfect crust. Oh yeah, I also add more honey.
Poor man burn ends on the left side and the flat on the right side. We got the flat all ready to cut up, and we got the burnt ends soaked in honey. Took about 12 hours total. Low and slow for 250, wrapped it at 165. And then at 195 degrees, we cut the point off, put it into this dish with the flat, put honey, monk fruit, and butter and barbecue sauce into these burnt ends. And then we put it back uncovered onto the grill till the bark set and it became super tender. You want to keep cooking the burnt ends until it slowly starts to break down. Hopefully by the end of the video, you've learned a bunch of tips and tricks to be able to create your own brisket. The first step is just do it.